It's the afternoon of March 12th, 2023, and we got a little caravan leaving the Moore's Fire Department. We've turned onto the Hemmingford Road, and the lead vehicle is Moore's Fire Chief Todd Gumlaw, who's taking a crew, two ladies reporters and two people in the camera crew. A short while ago, several days ago, a week or two or whatever, Moore's Fire Department was called out for a rescue out in the woods up this way, and it's got some national news attention, so we're going to follow along today as county legislator. I want to learn more about the situation here on our northern border, on immigrants crossing into the United States from the north. We're halfway familiar with the ones going north on the Roxham Road, but we've got two types of people that are coming back. Some are coming back after crossing legally, or illegally I should say, and some have apparently made their way into Canada legally and then decided to cross through the woods and through the fields and coming back this direction into the U.S. And we're in the middle of March now, and our weather will hopefully be getting better, but a lot of this has been going on in very, very cold weather situations, and people have been risking their lives to cross and come into the U.S. from Canada, and these are not Canadians that we're talking about. So we're going to learn more about what's happening, and we might record a little bit of Todd being interviewed, or we might not, and then just talk to Todd after. We'll see what the situation portends here as we keep going. Looks like we're going to cross onto the North Star Road now. Not quite sure what's happening right now. We're just a little east of the Upton Road on the North Star Road. Todd pulled over into the oncoming lane here. He's mainly off the road, but he's moving slowly. The three vehicles from the news media are behind him, and not quite sure what we're looking at here. Obviously we have a little bit of a hill and a curve up ahead, so I'm not sure if I want to be on that side of the road with oncoming traffic, but we'll see what transpires here. He may have a reporter in his vehicle. I'm not sure. I thought both of the reporters got in the white vehicle. Now, we've had a lot of snow melting in the last several days. We've got a snowstorm coming in tonight, but this is just a little east of the Thompson Road, and not sure if the camera's picking up the footprints in the snow. But there's north, and here's a fence, and footprints tracking their way through the snow. And we were told that recently the Border Patrol picked up a group of about 7, and one got away, and they found them in a barn not too far from this location, the person who got away. So this is the news crew here covering this. So Fire Chief Todd Gumlaw is about to have his 15 minutes of fame here. This 4-person crew gets ready to record him as we look at this area where the tracks from the north lead and come out here onto the North Star Road. It's taking them a while to get set up here, but they are set, and Todd is now on the national scene here. From here, I think we'll probably be going to a culvert where some of them have been known to hide, and I think we will be heading up maybe toward the Roxham Road. We made our way to the Roxham Road, and there are interviews being done on the north part of the highway here. When we talked to the people who are here talking to Todd, they couldn't understand two dead-end roads, but the Roxham Road and from the north that leads up to the Park Safari area for those of us on this side, and the Roxham Road here is this dead end. Both are dead ends, and years ago it was a way to cross, and you were expected to head for the nearest border station, but that's not the situation anymore. This road has been closed for several decades now. But as we see, there's an interview being done on the other side, and Todd will be interviewed on this side. And we have a couple of taxis arriving here, and this crew from NBC is going to be recording it. And we've got Mr. Todd Gumlaw here, finally able to get a hold of him here. He's been so busy with the national media, he hasn't had time for the local guy here. But.
Yeah, right.
Todd, they're here. And by the way, before I forget, the crew on the other side, I was told, is from Germany. A German crew is shooting from the other side of the Roxham Road over there. You see it. So
worldwide.
Yeah. So it's getting a lot of attention.
It is, and it definitely needs to get a lot of attention. Not just for those entering Canada seeking asylum, but for the ones that are heading back south. They need to know what's going on our side of the border up here.
What we're mainly concerned about, although we ended up here on the Roxham Road, which is the northbound traffic, is the southbound traffic, and an episode that you guys had with the fire department not too long ago.
Yep.
Today's the 14th, right? I think I earlier introduced this. I said the 12th. I think today's the 14th.
Yep. Back in February, we received a call from Clinton County 911 at approximately 12:30. There was two individuals that had crossed the border.
12:30 a.m.?
12:30 a.m., sorry, that were lost in the woods. The area that I was given was between the Blackman's Corners Road and the Bush Road on the Scriver Road. As many of us know, locals know, that's a pretty vast area.
Right.
There's a lot of rough land. At that point, we assembled a crew and responded up. Border Patrol had met us on scene. They were already on the ground. We deployed our new RTV unit that we acquired to go out and help with the search, but they were only allowed to get so far because it was so dense. We had manpower on foot that went in with the Sheriff's Department with their GPS locators, and within, I would say, a half hour, 45 minutes, they had located the individuals and brought them both out. Thankfully, they were still alive.
I don't know what's going on over here. They're having people to stop. I'm going to... Come on over here, sweetheart. This person is told to stop, and he just kept right on walking. And of course, that's the situation here. Once you get there, they ask you certain questions, and then they decide, they tell you your rights and so on, and that you, by crossing over, but they want you to stop before you cross, not after you cross.
Exactly.
So they can tell you what's going to happen when you do cross. And this is, I've been told, a irregular border crossing, not an illegal border crossing.
Right. Right. That's what I was told as well. They're not bringing them to the port of entry.
Right.
Over to Hemmingford Road. This is their main spot.
Right. So yeah, this is people who want to seek asylum in Canada. So they cross here at this, what we call an irregular border crossing, which is not the way you're supposed to be crossing. So years ago, before 2017, there was no buildings here. This was put up because they just needed a place to stay warm and to keep out of the weather. But yeah, these people are crossing and heading north.
And to process the individuals that come in.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's gone crazy in the past several months.
Right. So we're talking about people coming south, and
Yep.
what was happening when you came across them.
When the two individuals were located at approximately 1:30 that morning, they were both suffering severe hypothermia. They were on the verge of frostbite, considering it was 9 degrees out. And there was 1.5 2 foot of snow in the woods.
Slow walking, huh?
Yeah, very slow walking. And the one woman had to be carried out by our rescue unit. The other one, she seemed a little less for wear. She had more clothing on. But it's like they say, when you start with hypothermia, you start getting warmer, your brain's not functioning properly, so you start losing layers of clothing. And that's what this one individual did. Like I said, she didn't have any shoes on her feet, no socks, no nothing. She was barefoot.
It's amazing.
9 degrees out, and they're very lucky. They're very lucky that it was a rescue versus a recovery.
Because there have been at least one that we know of, and rumors of maybe more that have died frozen on their way south here. Again, we're at a place that's going north here, but these are people heading south that we are talking about. We're not talking about what's happening here at Roxham.
Right. It's the ones that are coming south that are. I don't want to say they're creating an issue with the landowners, but it's fearful for them.
Of course.
They're damaging their property, they're cutting their fences, they're letting their cattle out, and you don't know who or what is coming across.
Yeah, and who wants to let their kids out to play in the yard when
Exactly.
when you don't know who's going to be wandering into that backyard?
Exactly. It's very sad. It's a sad situation we're in. And what were the numbers? 800% within the last.
Yeah, 850%.
In the southbound traffic.
Right.
And
increase with Border Patrol. Yeah.
And that's very, very heart-wrenching. But it's also heart-wrenching to hear the stories of the landowners that say, there's 2 o'clock in the morning when you're woke up by your German Shepherd barking like a fool at the end of your yard. He's not barking at a deer.
Right.
Because that property is a heavily trafficked area. But I'm with them. Something definitely has to be done. I think the government needs to take a closer look at this and see what's going on up here. Get our story.
Yeah, and I fear for what's happening in the coming months, because if those numbers are this high right now in this terrible weather we've had, I can just imagine once the snow melts and
Exactly.
the birds are singing and
Exactly.
black flies are biting.
It's going to get. I imagine those numbers are going to increase drastically. But thank God we've got the customs patrols that we have here. Yes, they are understaffed greatly, but I would like to see some more up here. I know they brought in some of the U.S. forestry agents. I saw some of those gentlemen the other day that are training, and they're a welcome sight. We've got some people that kind of chuckle about it. They go out in their pastures in their land. One gentleman I spoke with, he said, I was out. It's that time of year, syrup season. He said, I was out walking my main line, and I walked into a meadow, and I wasn't in the meadow 10 minutes, and Border Patrol helicopter
coming over,
come right over the top of him and hovered down, and found out that he was supposed to be there, so he ended up flying off. But it's just getting to the point where I really feel for the people that live on border roads, and
Yeah, everybody that lives along that northern tier at this point in time, I think, has a story. If you start right from in our area, from Rouse's Point all the way through Moores and so on.
Yep.
The Swanton Border Patrol area takes all of Vermont, and I think they might go into a little bit of New Hampshire because New Hampshire's kind of skinny up at the top,
Right.
and all the way over here over to probably the Malone, Fort
Malone.
Covington area.
Yep.
So, and once you get past Fort Covington, you're into the St. Lawrence River, so it's a different situation there. But
Yeah.
here it's land crossing, and I think it's unfortunately just going to get worse as far as the people coming back our way.
Right.
And again,
Right.
we're doing this part at the Roxham Road, which is people heading north. But again, we think the numbers that have increased here have helped to increase the numbers that are heading south.
South. And that's one of the things too. I thought about it the other night. We when the fire department decided to purchase our RTV with the tracks on it, we bought the rescue unit for it as well. That was more along the lines of, well, we have snowmobile trails that go through our district. If a snowmobiler gets in an accident, that'd be a lot easier. If we need to get up somebody's driveway, I don't think it crossed any of our minds at that
I better
time.
not hit my car here.
Not the new one. No. I don't think it crossed any of our minds at that time that we would be doing rescue on illegals crossing the border back into the United States. But
Here we go, the Vermont car showing up here with what looks like people in the back. This vehicle here says Roxham Road. Looks like it's set up exclusively.
borderline taxi.
Yeah, it's set up exclusively for bringing people here.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, the NBC crew, anything that they asked you that I haven't asked you that you think is important to say?
No, they wanted to they wanted to see where the individuals were crossing south, coming in. They asked how they're getting picked up, whereabouts they're getting picked up, that kind of stuff. And it's hard to tell because you hear of a couple spots where they're being picked up, Calvin, but
Yeah.
you know as well as I do the North Star Road and Hemmingford Road. Those are some pretty long, and at times they can be desolate roads.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
not so
Ferris
much
Mills
the
Road,
Hemmingford, but Scriver Road, that area there. I mean, that's 3 miles of dirt road.
Yeah.
And then you've got you got the upper end of the Bush Road.
Yeah, I heard the other day from somebody who said that they heard that somebody got picked up on the Gamlaw Road, and on the northern end of the Gamlaw Road is a golf course up
Yeah.
there. So I don't know. Of course, nobody's
grief.
golfing this time of the year.
No.
But
No, it's gotten ridiculous. I mean, just with everything that's gone on, and I know the crossings down here on the Glass Road. One side of the ditch is, Drew's drainage ditch, and then the other side is Canada. So it's that's an easy jaunt for them too to get across. But you got to factor in they're headed north, not knowing what lies ahead of them if they decide to come south. There's nobody to tell them, and if they are, the people that are telling them, they're just taking their money and
yeah. So the story is that most of them are flying directly into Canada and coming back. But again, I think those numbers are increased by the ones who head north and then decide it's not for me, and then decide to come back.
Yeah. Most definitely, because you've been around the area long enough. You've been up to Canada in the wintertime. You've seen that they're not the nicest. Granted, our winters over here aren't what they used to be like back in the 70s, or even later than that. I know some of the older folks that are going to be watching. They can probably remember standing on top of some of these telephone poles.
When I was a kid, winter of '58, I could reach up and grab a electric wire if I was foolish enough to do it. That's how high the snowbank was.
Good grief.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere near that amount of snow these days, but there's enough, and topped with that and the cold extremities, or the weather, it's enough to kill somebody, and
It does kill people.
and it happens very quickly. Once it sets in, it doesn't take long.
Yeah, and let's hope that when the weather does get better, that we don't end up finding bodies out there in those woods and the fields.
Amen to that. Especially for a private landowner, that
Yeah.
that would
Yeah, kind of a.
that'd be a shock for them.
So anything else, Todd? If not,
I think that's it, sir. And
All
I want to appreciate you coming out with us today.
yeah, I think it's important. I want to learn as much as I can about what's happening here, and
Help get the word out. And,
yeah,
You know, because like you said, there's going to be more homeowners that would have more to say.
yeah. Whenever I post something, I get a lot of response. A lot of people saying, telling about their stories along the border and so on. And that Vermont car, I think years ago, that Vermont car would have gone to Alberg and let them off up there. But now this has become the spot for heading north.
This
so.
is the premier area for northbound travel.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap it up again. The main focus is the southbound travel, but we ended up here on the Roxham Road. Thanks to Todd.
Thank you.